You are listening to the Yummy Mummy Podcast, episode number 192.
Welcome to the Yummy Mummy Podcast, where you will learn brand new and shockingly different tools to lose weight for the last time. And now, here's your host, certified life and weight loss coach, Laura Conley.
Hey, Yummy Mummies, what's going on? I have a very special episode per the usual, but this one is so juicy. It is so meaty, and it talks to you all about what do you do after you have a plan, after you feel motivated, inspired, and then you don't want to follow the plan. What do you do when you have a vacation? What do you do when you have a barbecue, right? These plans are great, but then what do we do when life starts lifing? This episode will help you to overcome all of the obstacles that have previously gotten in the way of you getting the result that you want. This is a huge missing piece for so many of us when we are trying to lose weight. The obstacles that get in the way and how to overcome them. So, this episode is going to teach you exactly how to do that. So, I want you to get your paper, get your pen, get your listening ears all ready to go. This is a real meaty one where you are going to learn a lot. There's a lot of ahas. It comes from day 3 of the Summer of Me challenge, and it was just too good to not share with you. So, without further ado, I want to let you into day 3 and obstacles and strategies. So, have fun, enjoy it, and also have the best week ever. Bye. What's so cool about the method that we use here, the Yummy Mummy method, is that we really do act like we're scientists. So we're just trying to understand. We can take all the drama out of it when it's just a math equation, when it's just data that we're collecting because we're scientists or mathematicians, right? It's like, oh, okay, does having 2 drinks serve me? And sometimes it might, and sometimes it might not. It doesn't have to be a black or white answer. So you guys, welcome to day 3. Let's do this. I'm so excited about day 3. So as you guys are coming in, just pop open the Q&A box. Tell me how you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10 today. 10 being amazing and 1 being crap. Yay. Okay, everyone seems like they're feeling pretty good. 10 out of a 10. I'll take it. Yes. I'm feeling like a 10 out of 10 today too. It's really such a gift, you guys. And I'm not saying it to brag or to be annoying because I do think what I'm about to say might sound a little bit annoying. But most days I feel like a 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. Seriously, because of this work. It's such a gift. And the only reason I share that with you is because that is available for you too. That is available for you too, right? And life can really be, and I teach this inside the Yummy Mummy method, inside the experience, my 6-month program. A good guiding principle is like life is 50-50. But when you accept that, it's kind of funny how it shifts. Because when you're like, oh, sometimes life is supposed to suck. Like, I'm not trying to be Pollyanna about any of this. I'm trying to be real. But when we accept the truth, there's not as much pain because a lot of us, when we are in pain or we are feeling a negative emotion, we compound the pain by thinking, I should be happy. I shouldn't be feeling this way. And I'm like, no, you should. You should be feeling however you're feeling. But if you commit yourself to doing this methodology, you will wake up feeling like gangbusters, like so good. People in my life are just either really inspired by me or really annoyed by me. Okay. Another thing that we do inside the Yummy Mummy method is we rewire your brain from having a bias towards the negative to having a bias towards the positive. This isn't Pollyanna-esque. No, this is just out of the box. Your brain comes with a bias to the negative. It's a survival mechanism. It thinks, ooh, if I can find anything bad, negative, wrong, then I have a bigger chance of not dying. But we don't need that anymore. So we can really train our brains to look for what is working. Our brains naturally are going to go towards what's not working, what sucks, right? It's going to like the best example is, have you ever gotten like a report card back from your kid or had like a teacher conference and they like give your kid these glowing compliments, glowing grades, and then they give like one little subtle critique and you're like freaking out about it? Yeah, that's your negativity bias, but we can rewire your brain. And one way to do that is by continually consciously choosing to ask the question, and you won't want to. You'll have a little resistance to it because your brain also likes the familiar, even when it doesn't serve you. Oh my gosh, the brain, it's so fascinating. So that's why I ask you the question, what is working? What is there to celebrate? There's always something. If you make your brain go to work for you, it will. You just have to ask the right questions. It really will find answers. There might be a little resistance. Keep pushing your brain, and then it'll find something to celebrate. If you are listening to my voice right now, there is a huge celebration in that because there is some level of commitment. That is such a big deal, you guys. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about what to do if you do make a mistake or you don't honor your plan. Making a mistake and not honoring your plan, just FYI, that's neutral. It's not bad or wrong. We're also going to talk about how to get a little bit more positive and how to fill that pleasure cup up, how to look for glimmers, how to go glimmer hunting. Okay, so if you have given up like sugar or flour, let's say you've given up flour and then it comes time for burger night and you say no thank you to the burger. I want you to pay attention to your experience. When you say no thank you to the burger, there might be some resistance there. It might not feel great being like no or, oh, I'm going to say no. But then notice while you're eating it, is it really any worse? After you're done eating it, how do you feel? It's actually better for most of us because we don't feel the heaviness of the bun or the sugar or whatever the thing is. And it's at least the same. So whenever I say no thank you to the bun or to the pasta or whatever the thing is, in the moment, there can be a little bit of tightness or like, I really don't want to say no, but I'm going to say no because this is my plan. Not anymore for me because I'm like, whatever, 6 years into this. Sometimes, okay, it's a practice. But my point is, pay attention to the experience while you're eating. Is it really any worse? Your answer 99% of the time is going to be like, no, it's not any worse. This is just as great of an experience. And then at the end, oh, that was even, oh, yeah. So pay attention because that'll start to build the muscle. It'll start to help you build that habit. So this is so good. I love hearing from you guys. Okay, what else are you guys celebrating? Enjoyed blueberries. You guys, what is happening with fruit? Fruit is literal candy. When you wean yourself off of processed sugar, what a gift freaking Mother Nature gives us. Can we just take a second? Like, seriously, this is so cheesy. I don't care. Just do it. Just take a second and like give yourself a deep inhale and exhale and allow yourself to experience some pride that you're doing this for you. You are here doing it. Such a big deal. Most people will not do this. You honestly are in the top 1%. Most people will not do this. I went to a doctor's appointment for my daughter the other day. It says a sad scene inside the doctor's office because we had to take her to like the family practice, like not the pediatrician, because she says allergies, this whole thing, whatever. It's fine. She's totally fine. But my point is, that is like the 90% or the 80% or the 50%. Like, oh my gosh, you are in the top 1%. You feel proud of yourself for doing this. Every little choice, every little vote that you, every little decision that you make that's in the name of your future self, in the name of your health, in the name of your ravenous reasons that we talked about yesterday, every single thing, every time you make a tiny choice, celebrate that. Feel the pride. You deserve it. Say it out loud. Tell your partner, tell your kids. If you want to, you don't have to talk to your kids about this. We could talk about that too. We do go into that inside the Yummy Mummy about like, how do we talk to our kids about all this? They're like, this seems diety. Is it diety? What do I, ugh. Right? So, and I podcast on it too. But my point is like, celebrate yourself, whether you want to do it out loud or not. Okay. Focusing on nutrient density. Yes. And not worrying about nagging hunger between meals. Yes. That nagging hunger in between meals most likely is hormonal hunger. I promise you it will go away. How do you navigate a meal that I did not prepare? That is the best question ever. So if you were one of my clients, I would be like, let's make your brain go to work for you and get it to be resourceful. So Pam, how do you navigate a meal that you didn't prepare? So Pam, I want you to actually ask your brain. Ask your brain, like seriously, treat it like Chat GPT. Ask your brain, how do we do that? There might be a little resistance, and then ask it one more time. There might not be any resistance as well. Ask it one more time. Brain, Laura's going to give me $1 million if I can just guess at how do I navigate tonight. You will make your brain so resourceful. You will literally make it a Chat GPT if you probe it just a little bit. Just brain, just give me an answer. Just give me a couple answers. Just give me some guesses. Like if Laura would give me $1 million, like seriously, I always use this with my clients. I'm going to give you $1 million if you can give me 5 guesses. They're like, I have no idea. My clients are like, I don't know. I literally don't know. I'm like, I'm going to give you $1 million. They're like, I don't care about the money. I'm like, I'm going to take away your dog. They're like, okay, fine. And they come up with 5 guesses. So come up with some guesses, Pam. Now I'm going to give you some guesses too, right? This is how we do coaching. We make both of our brains work for your future self and your goals. Okay, so what is your plan? What is your protocol? What is your yummy mummy plan? Like what did you decide on day 1? You guys remember, I'm going to recap day 1. Remember, day 1, we created our perfect weight loss plans. We picked from 5 different things. Of course, you could add some bonus things if you wanted to. You could just pick 1. You could pick all 5, right? Then yesterday we talked about ravenous reasons and how to actually want to follow through on your plan. Why do you want to lose weight for the last time? Like, who cares? What is it about for you? How are you going to feel? Right? We talked about what real commitment is. Most of us are not taught what real commitment is. Real commitment is honoring your word no matter what. And in the no matter what is when you make a mistake and you eat off plan. You don't stop being committed. It's no matter what. We have been taught that we're supposed to be perfect when it comes to our plans. We are taught, and where does that get us? We have been taught that if we eat 7 Hershey Kisses followed by 2 handfuls of Cheddar Bunnies, that we just should start on January 1st or January 15th, 2026. No, or next Monday, or July 1st, or fill in the blank, whatever your brain does. Like after my birthday or after this season of all these events. Guys, if your life is busy with lots of events, don't lie to yourself. No, it's going to keep being busy with events. So how do you want to navigate those events? Do you want to navigate them in a body that you love? In a body where you feel confident? I promise you, your life is not going to get less busy. It's not. I always tell my clients, I'm like, you want to do the Yummy Mummy method when your life is busy, because that's your life, because then you have the tools to navigate your life. You want to be able to go on cruises. You want to be able to go on vacations. And this is a win-win. You want to feel your best on vacations and at home when you're like relaxed and maybe you don't have a lot of plans. Okay. So Pam, I want to know what your protocol, your plan is. I can help you for tonight. Okay. I like how other people have suggestions. Bring something you can eat. I love this one. Now, if you don't want to be a weirdo, now here's the deal. If you're going to be a yummy mummy, you have to be willing to be a little weird. Okay. So we could talk about that a little bit more tomorrow if you guys want to. We're going to talk about emotional eating. One way that some of us will eat for emotional reasons is because we don't want to feel the feeling of guilt, right? Okay, hear me out. You're at Mahjong or book club and your friend's like, oh, I made the best film like just for you. And that thing has flour in it. Like, I made you pigs in a blanket. No, I would just take off the blanket, eat the pigs. I'm so weird. Okay. So most of us will just eat the thing that our friend prepared for us because we don't want to disappoint them and feel the feelings that come along with it. Now, some of our friends don't give a shit. Most of them don't care. Most of them, if you're like, hey, I'm on a health journey, I'm saying no thank you right now to flour, sugar, whatever. Like, I'm really excited about this. Most people will be so supportive. Also, no is a complete sentence. You do not have to explain yourself. You can just be like, oh, no, thanks. Right? I love to think of like some of my Jewish friends that don't eat shellfish or pork. They like one of my good Jewish friends, she just says no. Like she doesn't even explain herself and no one ever cares. Typically when you care and you're like, oh God, are they going to like think I'm on a diet? And are they like, It's when we don't have our own backs, when we're like, oh, I'm just trying to be skinny and I'm on a diet. I have to like be skinny so I can earn my worth. It's like, no, remember your why. We are doing this so that we can dance with our granddaughter at her wedding. We are doing this so we can go down the water slide with like, like unapologetic rocking the bathing suit with our kids. We are doing this for really deep, big reasons. And when you can connect back to that, it's easier to communicate it to people. Like, oh, I'm doing this health journey because I really learned that I'm allergic to sugar. People are like, don't eat gluten because of the effects. I'm like, my functional medicine doctor, like literally, it's like, you cannot eat gluten. Like it is so bad for your body because of XYZ. I'm like, I actually feel way worse when I eat sugar. But there's not a blood test for that. I mean, there kind of is. We could get into that later. But you get my point. It's like so many of us don't eat gluten or dairy because of the way it affects our body. Like, what about sugar? Why can't we be allergic to sugar? I'm like, I am allergic to sugar. Anyways, okay. So when you go to Mahjong, you can say no. You can say no. That's option one. You can say no. Option two, you can say no, and you can give a little explanation. Option three, you can bring your own food. But if you don't want to be like a weirdo, I always love, this is what kind of one hack that I like to do, is I wonder what time is your Mahjong? Can you tell me that in the Q&A? So I like to bring like a giant salad to share that has like everything in it. Because I know that will satiate me for the entire night. I love like a big, like chopped Italian salad, and I'll bring it to share, and it's huge, and everybody loves it, and I fill my huge plate with it, and it's great. I just don't eat anything else. Now there might be some other things that I can eat, and I might add some things. Now the other thing is you can eat before you go. What? That's an option? That sounds crazy. Yeah, you can totally eat before you go. Now sometimes you guys have probably heard me talk about this a little bit if you've been in my world for a while, but I get really hungry like around 5 or 6. So sometimes my book club isn't until like 6:30 or 7. So I eat before I go. No one cares. Literally, nobody cares. And I watch when other people do the same thing. No one cares when other people do it, right? The 1% of people that will care are people that have their own like insecurities. And that's where we get to practice feeling guilt or feeling discomfort. And remember, it's not our guilt. I didn't actually teach this group. There's 2 types of guilt, y'all. Type 1 is the guilt that's actually really good. It points you back to your values. So if I scream bloody murder, yelling at my daughter for like not picking up her spill, I'm going to feel guilty after that. And that's actually helpful because it's showing me, oh, like, Laura, that's not in alignment with your values. That's not how you want to show up. Like, how can we shift that next time? And we're going to talk about that today too. How to change behavior in a loving way so that you get the result that you want as a parent and as somebody who eats food and is in a body. Okay. The other type of guilt is our culture's guilt. Our culture teaches us when somebody offers something to us, we should say yes. We don't want to be rude. Is it rude? I'm like, you have to be willing, right? So we have to be willing to be a little bit of a weirdo. Like I always am eating like the tops of the pizza off the pizza. Such a psycho. No one cares. You have to be willing to be a little bit of a weirdo, and you have to be willing to give the culture's guilt back to the culture because the culture has taught us that it is rude to say no. And I'm like, you want to know what's rude? Is disappointing my future self. She's going to be pissed at me later. That's rude, right? You have to be willing to disappoint someone else in order to appoint your future self. Again, they probably aren't going to be disappointed, but worst case scenario, they are. Take a few deep breaths. It's okay. That's culture's guilt. That's her disappointment. It's not my business, actually. And I just want to announce this for everybody. I just want to like make a speech. You can tell the host. You don't have to tell the host. I like telling the host, but again, it's totally up to you, right? So you do you. I love when I witness my friends like doing them. Like the other night we went out to dinner and my friend, we all went out to dinner and it was a big group and she just ordered 1 glass of champagne. She didn't order dinner. She made no explanation. I mean, she knows I'm not going to question her because she knows me. She knows my program. Okay. So Pam, it sounds like a perfect plan. Now, I want you guys all, oh God, here we go. I'm like pouring everything. I'm trying to give you guys in 5 hours what we cover in 6 months. I'm trying to give you as much as I can. So just so you know, if you ever go to free trainings like this, a lot of coaches or online people, they have a whole strategy. My whole strategy is to free the moms. That's it. Anything you ask me, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to fit as much as I humanly possibly can into this 5 hours because I want to free the moms. Okay. So it's not like I'm going to keep the secrets from you. I will tell you the things. So here's one thing I will really want you to do, Pam, and I want everyone to do this. So listen up. This is for you. Okay. What do you have coming up? Pam's got Mahjong. I got book club. Who's got pickleball? Who's got pickleball with dinner afterwards on Friday? Who's got a birthday party? Ooh, me. On Saturday. What weekend plans, if you don't have plans during this week, what weekend plans do you have coming up that could get in the way of you honoring your plan? Now, your brain might be like, oh no, we're totally good. We're like so motivated. Like nothing's going to come up. Lies. Total lies. Your brain, remember the motivational triad? Your lower brain operates on the motivational triad. Survival mechanism. Seek pleasure, avoid pain, do it as simply and as easily as possible. So when you're like, brain, we're going to come up with some obstacles, some things that could get in the way of us honoring our plan, your brain's going to be like, there's nothing, because your brain doesn't want to go to work. So that's the part where you say, brain, Laura said we have to come up with like at least 3 obstacles that could arise over the next week. Okay. This is like, have you guys heard of strategic pessimism? This is actually a good way to include pessimism in your life. Okay. So what could come up? Mahjong. So like, I love Pam because it's a perfect example. Pickleball and then eating at the club after. And every time I go to the club, I eat XXX and XXX is not on the plan. So how are we going to identify those obstacles? We're going to make our brain go to work for us. And then what do you do when you identify an obstacle? This is part of our content. I'm just jumping ahead for today. What do you do when you identify an obstacle? Anybody know? You make a plan. Identifying obstacles is magic because if you can identify an obstacle, you can identify a strategy to overcome the obstacle. We just did this in real time for Pam. So anyone else got an obstacle coming up? Let's help you strategize. And this is exactly what we do inside the Yummy Mummy for 6 months. My client described it so perfectly. She came on my podcast, Leonora. Go listen to that podcast if you haven't. Leonora, she was so good. She is brilliant. She's also a coach. Anyways, she was like, we spend a week inside the Yummy Mummy experience creating our plans, and then we spend 5 months and 3 weeks learning how to strategize the obstacles that can get in the way. Seriously. And then you're good to go. Okay. So what obstacles could come up? And then make your brain go to work. What strategies could I handle? Okay. Pizza and cocktail night on Friday and book club on Saturday night. Pizza will be my joy eat. Great, Laura, you're crushing it. I will skip any sugary cocktails, straight liquor only, please, LOL, and plan to eat before book club. Boom to the boom, boom. You crushed it. That's amazing. Yes. Now remember, if you have 2 pizza nights back to back, you may be able to figure out a way to integrate salad into that. Most pizza places have crap salad. You eat the crap salad. Because guess what? Every single meal doesn't have to be the best meal of your life. You can have one meal out of your 40 freaking meals in the week that's meh. It's allowed. It's totally allowed. You're going to get to eat again in like 8 hours or 4 hours or something like that. This is my brain used to be like, well, that wasn't a 10 out of a 10, so I have to reorder food. I need more because it wasn't good. So it's going to be fine. So funny, our brains, right? Now, if you have 2 pizza nights back to back, you could eat the mess salad or you can eat the tops off the pizza like I do. I love eating the tops off the pizza. It's my favorite. You should see my son. He does the same thing now. So cute. I think it's cute. My husband thinks it's weird. So I don't care. Whatever. My husband's like, that's such a waste. I'm like, who cares? Right? We could talk about that too. What's the bigger waste? The pizza crust and the compost and the disposal and the trash, or the pizza crust on my body? that then I have to go work off or whatever. That's a bigger waste. Guys, we are so programmed with the kids in Africa are starving, okay? Don't get mad at me for saying that out loud. Seriously, it's not related. Not related. Okay. So let's see what else you guys are. What other obstacles could come up and what strategies are you going to apply? Now, I have something I want to teach you. You identify an obstacle. Then you identify a strategy. You aren't done. You must, in that moment, identify another obstacle. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's use Laura. Okay, so she's got a plan. She's going to eat before book club, but then she gets to book club, right? So the obstacle is book club. Her strategy is eat before book club, but then she gets to book club. This is where you want to follow it all the way down to the bottom. The obstacle is she gets to book club and her favorite snack mix is there. Her favorite dessert is there. And her brain's like, oh, but that's her favorite. Looks really good. It's right there. What's your strategy for that? Follow it to the bottom, you guys. Be willing to keep going because usually, I hate to say it, usually it's not enough to just come up with one strategy. Will your brain fight back on that strategy when you're in the moment? What could your brain come up with? What's happened in the past for you? So we did a little bit of a review. I talked to you guys yesterday about journaling every day. And I talked to you about how that's like brushing your brain, and you have to brush your brain every single day if you want the health in the body that you say you want. You have to journal every day. Okay, it's like brushing your brain. But what happens if you don't journal? Like say you wake up tomorrow and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to journal yesterday. Or next week, you forget. It's another obstacle. You just journal. Like, what happens if you forget to brush your teeth? Have you ever forgotten to brush your teeth? Ever? Yes, no, maybe? What do you do when you realize you've forgotten to brush your teeth? You brush your teeth. You're not like, oh, this doesn't work. I'm not going to do that again. No, you literally just brush your teeth. What happens if you go on vacation and you forget your toothbrush? You figure out a way to get a toothbrush. It's not like I'll just wait till I get home to brush my teeth. Gross. Right? It's so funny. We'll just be like, oh, I'll just wait till I get home. Oh, I don't have my special journal, my special notebook. It's like, you have a phone. Or you could get a paper and a pen. You can figure out a way to get a paper and a pen. Or you can figure out how to open your notes app. Watch your brain. Oh my God. Seek pleasure. Avoid pain. It thinks journaling is painful. Do it as easy as possible. Your brain will come up with all kinds of clever reasons as to why you can't follow through on your plan and why you can't journal. It's very clever. It's very clever. Don't listen to it. Do not believe your brain. It's a liar. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes flat out liar. Right? It's like that quote, don't believe everything you think. Okay, what else we got in here? Okay, I'm going to go to the Q&A in a minute. So day 1 and day 2, you guys got that. Now, today, I want to talk about and we did a little bit already, but what to do if you make a mistake. Okay, so think about this, you guys. Have you ever done a diet or done a plan and you make a mistake? You're like, okay, I'm going to do no sugar. And then you eat a cupcake. Has that ever happened? Or cake pop? Or you eat the rest of your kids' French toast? We are taught that after we eat the cupcake, even though we said we weren't going to eat the cupcake, we are taught that there are 2 ways to handle it. Okay? We were taught to throw our heads in the sand, be like, oh, it's totally fine. It's gluten-free anyways. It's fine. It's fine. We'll make up for it later. It's fine. It's fine. Or we call it like, oh, I'm just going to give myself grace. It's totally fine. Yeah. And then you guys are in the chat, in the Q&A, and you're saying, more common, it just depends on the person. And it depends on the moment. I used to do both. That doesn't work if you want to lose weight for the last time. Doesn't. It might sound like a pretty good option. Like if you could talk to your friend, like, oh God, I ate the cupcakes. She'll be like, that's fine. It's a cupcake. It's not the end of the world. But if you want to lose weight for the last time, that's not going to work. Option 2, beat the crap out of yourself. What's wrong with me? I can never stick to anything. Oh my God, I'm like the worst. Like, oh, I'm such a failure. Like, how come other people can do it? Beating crap out of ourselves. Like, we like vow to like go on a green juice cleanse. We vow to do a million workouts. We're going to do 15,000 steps a day now. That's what we're going to do. And we like punish ourselves, right? These do not work. If we want permanent habit change, these two ways of looking and interpreting our mistakes, you don't even have to call them mistakes. You could call it a plot twist. You could call it a detour, whatever that. If a mistake feels chargy and triggering, call it a plot twist. Ooh, plot twist. That's fun. Okay, so we need a third way. I'm going to talk to you about what that third way is. What do we do when we notice, oh, we've made a mistake? Okay, before I tell you the third way, I want to tell you the definition of discipline. What do you guys think of when I say the word discipline? We usually think of like punishment. We usually don't like that word. So the meaning of the word discipline is to teach. That's the root of it. Isn't that cool? So consistency, structure. So think about your kids. If you guys have kids, if you don't have kids, it doesn't matter. This still applies. P.S. You don't have to be a mom of humans to be a yummy mommy. Just want to like announce that. So if you have kids, even if you don't, this works with like animals too. It works with like other relationships, but let's just go with kids. There's so much data and so much research out there now. If you want to help your kids to change their behavior so that they can be like functioning humans in our world, how are we supposed to discipline them? Do you guys know? So my kids, let's do like a real-time example. I've got Phoenix, he's 4, he's a boy. We've got Luna, she's 6, she's a girl, okay? He's physical. He's big, he's boy energy, okay? He will beat the fucking crap out of Luna, okay? So let's do an example. I'm trying to think of like the other day. The other day, he takes her like coloring book. She goes over, rips it out of his hands. He goes over, whacks her upside the head. They get in a big fight. Now, what do I kind of want to do? I kind of just want to ignore it. And sometimes that might be appropriate, right, in this example. But if I really want to change behavior, that's not going to work. Okay, so sometimes, right, we want to kind of just ignore it. Like, we'll just hope that just like solves itself. Number 2, we don't beat the crap out of our kids, like verbally, when we're being the parents we want to be, verbally or physically, right? I'm not like, when I'm being the mom I want to be, I'm not like, you fucking idiots, what are you doing? I told you not to hit each other. Doesn't work to change behavior. This is science-backed. What changes behavior? I take a deep breath. I get calm. I walk on over and I sit down with Venus. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, she took the coloring book back. And I'm like, that must have been really frustrating for you. He's like, yeah, I'm mad. And I'm like, can we just take a deep breath here? Once he gets calmed down, I can actually talk to him. And I can be like, hey, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be annoyed. It's not okay to hit. What can we do next time? Like, what are some solutions that we could apply next time? You guys getting a tip. Next time she takes the coloring book back, he's like, I could use my words. I could call you over. I could, and I have to, he's still little, so I have to help him come up with strategies to overcome the obstacle, right? So I have to help him to think of ways. This is going to work way better when he's calm and he's not feeling ashamed. He does feel ashamed. So sometimes I'll go back like a half an hour later to help him. You guys, this takes 30 seconds. For us, when we practice this on ourselves, 30 seconds. Okay, so what I do not want you doing anymore is throwing your head in the sand and ignoring yourself. People call that, oh, I'm just going to give myself grace. That's not grace. It's the opposite of self-love. You're ignoring yourself. You're abandoning yourself. Okay? If you're not ready to look at the mistake or the plot twist, that's okay. You don't have to look at it right away. Don't beat yourself up. That doesn't work. We literally have all the proof in the world. Do we not? You guys, we have all the proof in the world. If you beating the crap out of yourself feeling shame, feeling regretful, feeling guilty worked, it would work by now. Okay. So we have to try the third way. This is called look back with love. Okay. That's what I sort of just explained. I'm going to go into greater depth. So you notice there's been a plot twist. You've noticed that you've eaten off plan. You notice you've had the cupcake when you said you were going to have the cupcake. You probably, if you're practiced at beating yourself up, you probably will feel a wave of shame. That's okay. What's shame? It's a feeling. It's just a vibration in our body. You can feel shame. I realize I'm feeling a lot of shame right now. It's okay. That's a practice emotion. That's an emotion that I tend to feel after I eat something off plan. It's actually not necessary though. So what was going on there? This is look back with love. This is basically, do you guys know what this is? This is like doing obstacles and strategies after the fact so that you have the obstacle and strategy for the next time. Okay, so what was really going on for me there? Like what was happening? You can trick your brain to look back with love because you're not going to want to look back with love right at first. You're going to be like, oh God, no, head in the sand, way better option. I'll just do that. I'll look back with love like later, like tomorrow. Give yourself a couple breaths and then look back with love. There might be resistance when you first try it. That's okay. Resistance is not a problem. What I want you to like, the carrot I want you to give yourself is like, hey, we can learn something about ourselves. And therefore, every time we learn, my friend Sarah, she calls it a buried treasure. Every time we learn from the plot twist or the mistake, we find a buried treasure that is integral, that is so important for our goal. We literally can't get to our goal unless we go get those buried treasures, unless we look back with love. Okay. So sell yourself on this practice a little bit. Looking back with love is all it is what was going on for me. Why did I eat the cupcake? Oh, I ate the cupcake because I wanted a reward at the end of a really hard day. I was really stressed. My kids were temper tantruming all day. I sat in traffic. My boss was being an a-hole. My husband didn't take out the trash, whatever. And I just felt like I deserved it. Like I just wanted a freaking reward, just something good in my day. Sound like your brain? Anybody? I'm not saying you don't deserve a reward. You do. Let's just reward you in a way that's got a net positive, or at least a net neutral, not a net negative. We know that if we keep eating cupcakes, we can't weigh what we want. And therefore, you get to decide, that's not me. It's a net negative. So what was going on for me there? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Wow, I get it now, right? That's emotional hunger. Totally normal, not wrong, not bad. You're not doing heroin. Don't be mad at yourself. You're using cupcake. Not the worst crutch. It's not the worst. It's not the worst drug. It's not. Okay. Oh, I just really wanted a reward. Totally normal. Okay. What can I think and do? What can I think and do next time to take care of myself? Okay. Next time, you can take a deep breath, use allow power, right? Remember we learned that yesterday? Oh yeah, of course I want the cupcake. I'm feeling like I really need a reward. How can I reward myself in another way? Oh, I'm going to go take a bath. I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to go whatever. This is where you might have to apply gag and go. Like my friend Olivia teaches, you might have to apply gag and go because there might not be an opportunity for you to take a bath or a walk or like call a friend, phone a friend. No, you might have to just feel like ass. Go to bed. That's what nobody teaches us. The currency to your dreams is feeling negative emotion, negative in quotes. The currency to your dreams is that discomfort. But what discomfort do you want? It's not like it's comfortable continuing to eat the cupcake all the time. Very uncomfortable. So do you want the discomfort of staying the same or the discomfort of changing? You pick. Your brain wants the comfort of staying the same. It is designed to keep you in the familiar. Okay, what are you guys saying in the chat box? Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? I want you guys to start to practice. I want you guys starting to practice look back with love. Yeah. Yeah, good job, Jen. Okay, I loved it. Yeah, and you can pack snacks for the airport or the plane if you want to. If you really, I like to fast typically when I'm on a plane or in the airport, but I will say there are so many on plan, on protocol snacks in the airport. You'd be so surprised. You know what I love to do too is like if I'm traveling, I love to just like be the planner. And everyone loves me for it. Like I'll plan everything. Well, so then I can kind of be in control. Don't mishear me though. When you are eating out at a restaurant, there are plenty of options. Believe it. Get creative. Figure out ways. You guys, we're not going on a crazy strict diet. We're just eliminating a couple of things that don't serve us. Yeah, no, thank you. Practice words, no, thank you. And just be willing to sit with a little bit of discomfort in your body. When you say no, thank you, you will get better and better, and it will be a habit. You won't even notice you're saying it anymore. It won't feel hard. It will feel hard a little bit at the beginning and will not feel hard in the long run. So let's talk a little bit about glimmer hunting and true pleasure. Okay. So I want you guys to come up with for homework like 5-ish things that are your true pleasures. Throw some on the Q&A right now. What are some things that you love? What are some things you love doing that fills your pleasure cup up? And what's a true pleasure? It's something that gives you a net positive or in at least a net neutral. So think about it. It's like if you feel like you need a reward, how can you reward yourself with a true pleasure? How can you be filling your pleasure cup up throughout the day? You can glimmer hunt. Do you guys know what glimmer hunting is? Okay, what was my glimmer? I already had a really good glimmer today. Oh my God, it's so glittery. So my son came down kind of early. I was sitting out on the porch swing and he just snuggled me. We're like snuggling. The birds are chirping. Sky is shining. And I am, oh my God, total bliss. Sometimes because I like to think about you guys all the time. So when I think about my past self, I think, oh, if this was 10 years ago and my son was coming down, I mean, he wouldn't have been born, but like, you get my point. I probably would be half present because I probably would like be mad at myself for like overeating last night, trying to figure out how I'm going to fix it today. No, I'm just totally present, looking at the birds. We have this little bird house, hearing the birds, cuddling him. Like I was like literally just holding his face like this, right? So I want you glimmer hunting because when you fill your pleasure cup up, guess what? Your brain is going to stop incessantly seeking. Remember, it is a dopamine seeking missile. It will find dopamine if you don't give it to it, right? If you're not strategic about it, it will find it in the pantry late at night. It will, or on the weekends, or whenever. Little random truth flag. Okay, what are we talking about in the chat box, you guys? Yes. Oh, hugging. Do you guys know I love this? When you hug someone, especially your kids, it might be a little bit creepy with adults, not your partners if you have one. Wait till they let go. Be the last one to let go. It's so fun. And if you're hugging, again, if you can get a little, this is weird, but it works. There's science behind it. If you can get a little skin to skin contact, you will release oxytocin, which is, it's a pleasure hormone. It feels so good. So like get into it a little bit. Going to bed early so I have time to journal, watch a show, read, quality time with friends, family, black coffee, working out, coloring, gaming. This is so good. How can you guys integrate these into your days? Or maybe you're already doing it. How can you relish in it when you're in it? Like note it, like be there when you're there. Reading a book for pleasure. Yeah, me too. Drinking a lovely hot cup of coffee on my deck. Yes, this is so good. Laughing with my kids. Yes. These are so good. Hot tea, slow mornings, tapping meditations, walking the podcast, hot yoga, Bible. Yes, these are great. Taking in the car. You guys are, oh my God, you guys are true pleasure Pams. We got a Pam in here. Walking outside, reading on my, yes. How can you integrate this? Don't think that you have to like reinvent your schedule and your life. You don't. A hug here, a kiss here, a noticing the birds there. So I want you guys glimmer hunting. So true pleasures are bigger in my mind. It doesn't matter. They're basically synonyms. It does not matter. But I think of a true pleasure as like a massage, a bath, a long walk, whatever. Time reading a book on my porch swing. I love that porch swing. It's a freaking bed, you guys. It's a literal bed size. And then a glimmer is like the birds chirping and like you can see they're like flirting with each other. I mean, I have so many. Just like my son's cheeks, like they're still chubby. Even his earlobes are a little chubby. Oh my God, the earlobes. Making plans to travel, and then the outfits. Yes, so good, you guys. Okay, so this is what I want you guys working on. And working is like the wrong word. I want you enjoying it. Okay, so you guys are going to have homework on identifying obstacles and strategies, beginning to implement look back with love, and then finding some go-to true pleasures, and then looking for glimmers every day. There's always a glimmer in your life. They're in plain sight. It's just, can we notice them? All you have to do is just ask yourself and train yourself to look for them. So it's the funnest way to live life. Okay, questions? Anybody? Anyone want to come on and get a little coaching? Okay, so Jen is asking, I may be getting ahead of myself here, but what I've wondered is, if this isn't a diet, when do you stop losing the weight? Such a good question. Okay, so what's your goal weight, Jen? I mean, you don't have to tell me. I always tell my clients to make a range, right? So I want your goal weight to be like, have a 5 pound or 3 pound or 7 pound range. Like, my goal weight is 130 to 137, or my goal weight is 110 to 113, or my goal weight is 160 to 162, whatever. What is your goal weight? Most likely your goal weight is your natural weight. So I would love it. You get to decide. I don't get to decide. I'm not going to be like, oh, do this chart and this and that. No, you're going to know where your happy weight is. This is the term that Nicole uses, my friend who I was just talking about. She talks about happy weight. I'm like, I'm totally going to use that in my branding and in my marketing. It's so good. So I call it your natural weight. When you are using food for fuel, most of the time you're not overeating. I never identified as an overeater, but most of us are actually overeating because, and we're going to talk about it again this tomorrow a little bit more, anytime you're eating when you're not hungry, it's actually an overeat, which is probably why, if you have extra fat on your body, that's why, among some other reasons, which again, here for all the questions. So my point is, when you are using food for fuel, most of the time, and your plan will support that, you'll bottom out at your natural weight, and then you just keep going. So for some of you, this is going to feel resistancy, and some of you, this is going to feel like a big relief. One of the reasons that and we talked about this, I think, on day one, that you don't weigh what you want, if you don't weigh what you want right now, is because you've been taught that there's an end date. There's no end date to your health. You're going to keep eating in a way that's supportive forever. And that doesn't mean you don't change it. It doesn't mean you don't add some things back in. But inside the Yummy Mummy and this methodology, we do it very, very strategically. Okay? So maintenance phase, there's no maintenance phase, right? And you will stop losing. You will bottom out at your natural weight, I promise you. And your natural weight, 9 times out of 10 for my clients, is exactly what your goal weight is, or your dream weight, or your happy weight. In fact, most of my clients will end up losing a little bit more. It just depends. So no, this is not, I mean, you could call it a diet if you want to call it whatever you want. There is a plan that you are following, but what is the difference between a diet and something that you're doing that's supportive for your health? It's nuance, it's semantics, right? But it's like, I have a plan for my money because I want certain results with my money. Diets aren't really inherently bad. They're actually totally neutral. It's diet culture and our diet brains that are really the problem, honestly. Not our fault, the conditioning we've gotten. But it's like, I want a certain result with my money, so I have a money plan. It's not a big deal. There's not a whole bunch of meaning wrapped up in it, okay? Let's see. Is it crazy to pick a goal weight I haven't been at in 12 years? No, it's not. Go for it. You can totally do it. Do you think about getting enough protein and fiber? Let's not worry about that for right now. For right now, I mean, I know it's so hot right now. Don't worry about it yet. Okay? All right, you guys. That is our call for today. I love you guys all so much. I will see you tomorrow. Love you. Bye. Hey, if you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, I would love it if you leave a rate, review, and a subscribe on whatever you're listening to this podcast in. Pretty pleased with a cherry on top. It would help me so much, and it would help all the other mamas out there hear this message. Thank you in advance. I really appreciate it. And
you have to come check out the Yummy Mummy experience. It's my proven lose weight for the last time group coaching and course. Head to lauraconley.com and just click work with me. Other than that, you guys, I would love to give you a free gift. If you want your free listener only gift, go to lauraconley.com/gift. And from there, you will get your free best ever weight loss hack. So cool. The last thing I want to tell you, you guys, is I do have a free Facebook group. It's called, you guessed it, the Yummy Mummy. Lose weight for the last time, end body drama, and get food freedom. You can just search that on Facebook, or again, you can head to the show notes and you'll find the link there. All right, you guys, have the best day ever.